Well, hello and welcome to episode 4 of Just Google It with Chris and Tegan, and where we talk all things Google, taking a lot of the news released in the last couple weeks and helping making it easily digestible for you guys, because I know in tech there's just a ton of stuff coming out all the time. There's blogs, news articles, everything, and so we try to do our best to bring all the highlights to you. But this is a really cool episode because we are fresh off of a week in Las Vegas. We got the opportunity to go to Google Next 2024 that was hosted at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. And I will say, Tegan, it was my first time in Vegas as an adult. I had gone when I was 8 years old, but back then, I only went during the day, and while my parents hit the casino floor, I stayed in an arcade. Which as an 8-year-old, I was fine, right? Like they gave me $20 in quarters. Yeah, they gave me $20 in quarters and said goodbye, and I didn't think twice about it. But that being said, Google Next, man, you've had a little bit of time to think after we got back from Vegas. Tell me, what are your thoughts? What were your favorite moments of the week?
Casino floors, made sure to, some customers drug us out there. That was bound to happen. But man, some of the takeaways I have right off the bat was we did a customer event, SHI, at the Sphere.
Oh,
incredible. It was National Geographic. It was, I think, a postcard from Earth. The way that they had cannons of air blast out at you, they had smells coming in of like citrus and other fruits when you were flying. I won't spoil it. The Sphere was a highlight of the week. Other than that, I'd say connecting with customers, seeing some of the Googlers that you haven't seen in quite a while, especially those that are in other countries that were traveling from Germany, Australia, the UK. I got to see a lot of guys that you used to work with in past lives. And then finally, the sessions. The sessions were some of the coolest things. They had sessions on just about anything you could imagine. I know you went to a couple different sessions. I know we have some big announcements coming up as well. But, before we saw on that, what about you? What was your favorite part?
Man, I hate to just piggyback off you, but the Sphere was just absolutely incredible. I'm a big nature guy. I love getting out in nature and just seeing things that make you feel small, right? Like the idea of like seeing something large to make yourself feel small. But I never thought something could create that feeling watching a video, but it got pretty darn close. It was absolutely phenomenal. After being back and doing some research into the Sphere, just seeing the technology that they have to have. The camera, if you look at it, it looks like something out of a science fiction movie just to get the shots that they got. And it was just a really great experience. And if you go to Vegas, please, I'm telling you, go to the Sphere. It was phenomenal. But other than...
Dude, what about the size of that thing?
Oh, massive.
I was not expecting it. Like you had a great shot from your hotel room. We need to post that picture too here.
Yeah, it was so funny, man, because I was going to sleep, and as I went over to just close the curtains or whatever in the hotel room, I looked out one more time, and the Sphere was just a massive like emoji face, just like staring at me, and I'm like, this is bananas. Like, this is insane. But yeah, it's remarkable. People are saying it's the eighth wonder of the modern world, right? Like nothing like that has been built before. But really cool stuff. Yeah, really cool stuff. But, as far as the conference itself, if you ever get the chance to go, I would really encourage you to. Having 30,000 people in one place, really smart people too, right? Like being able to talk to people, get to know people that have different backgrounds than you, that speak different languages than you. It really was just really a melting pot of really smart, intelligent people that want to make the world a better place with technology. And that's what I really enjoyed, is how passionate everyone I encountered was about, where they work in technology and where they see technology going forward in the next couple of years. It was really, really cool.
Agreed. Dude, there's some big announcements. We had multiple sessions of keynotes. There's a partner keynote, and there was a full-on customer keynote. We had some guest speakers. There was Walmart. One of the senior vice presidents got brought on and talked about their partnership. Man, there were some huge announcements. I know I keep teasing them, but Chris, you want to give me your top 5? This might be hard, but just rattle off top 5 big announcements that Google had.
Yeah, it is really hard because Google even the day after the conference posted something, and it was like the 168 announcements from Google Next, and I'm like, oh my, I don't remember half of those because I'm just, in awe trying to process everything. But, if I had to think of a couple things, one, I think Google Vids, right? I think it's been a really long time since Workspace has really created a brand new application into its productivity suite. And this one specifically is AI is the bedrock, right? Gen AI really is the bedrock of this. And basically what Google Vids is it's a end-to-end platform for video creation, right? All within Google Workspace that you can go in there, say you have a marketing campaign, and you can then put in with a natural language chat bot what you want to create and have a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute video just created for you right there. And not to mention the real-time collaboration of all the other Workspace apps included there. So if it's a team doing this, you can tweak things. I mean, really, really cool product that I think is going to be added that a lot of people are going to use, not just on the enterprise side, but also on the consumer side, right? Like, I mean, content creation is one of the main things people talk about nowadays. And that just got a lot simpler, I think, on a really cool level. Something that ties into that is they announced Imagen 2.0, right? Which is Google's family of image creating Gen AI models, right? And some of the stuff they showed, I mean, I don't know about you, but Gen AI for the first, year of it being out, some of the images created were pretty wonky, man. Like they would have like people's arms would be like deformed looking. They would be like, off to the side or pixelated. But some of the things they were showing is mind-blowing, and I cannot wait to see what people create with that. Some really awesome stuff. I mean, I talk about the fact that consumers can use it. How do you see yourself using Google Vids, Tegan?
So I had a hot take on Google Vids. I think it's going to be implemented more by small businesses and like SMB mid-market firms than the big players are going to pick this up. And the reason why is exactly kind of what you alluded to. It's going to be a talent acquisition or a talent problem. Google Vids is going to take that work of multiple sound engineers, multiple videographers, multiple editors, and it's going to create one unique platform from start to finish that will do it itself. I mean, this is as simple as point, shoot, upload, boom. You're ready to go on YouTube. You're ready to go on LinkedIn. I mean, Chris, this thing's fantastic for small businesses or anyone that's doing nonprofits. I can see this being huge. They're always strapped for cash. Again, the small businesses, even law firms, like boutique mom and pop shops, where I can use this. The first thing I was like, can I sign up for this right away? Is I run a professional networking group here in Austin called the Loop ATX, where we started in Kansas City and we branched out. And as soon as I moved down to Austin, I started it. But that's one of the biggest things I've seen for it is, I mean, we're strapped. My leadership team and I, we are at our wits' end doing anything and everything to grow this thing. Having Google Vids in this mix, I can see it right off the bat. Being able to shoot, point, upload this. I don't have to do any of the videography. I don't have to do any of the editing. I can upload it. Boom, I got this wonderful Steven Spielberg type of movie.
Before you know it, you're gonna show your own personal videos on the Sphere. You know what I mean? Like at this point,
Pixar or Disney, Tegan, I saw your video. We want you.
Yeah.
You might not see me next year, Chris.
Yeah, you're gonna be scalped. Someone's gonna come and get you, man. They're gonna.
If you see me on your next kid's video, Pixar movie, and you see Tegan Brown as videographer or whatever, you know why.
God, that's incredible. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. And like I said, something that matters to everybody because it's not just in the enterprise space, but also the consumer space. Another big announcement Google made is, they're trying to always have the best hardware, right? And I think this is something that a lot of times we get lost in the shuffle. But they announced a new ARM Axiom TPU, which is really cool because they're creating this chip themselves in partnerships with NVIDIA and some of the other people in that market. But really, they're trying to make their servers as advanced as possible. And really what this chip is going to do is just make everything a lot more efficient. But one thing I will say about the ARM chip is, Tegan, do you know what ARM stands for?
No, I don't. I didn't do my homework.
So it's an acronym. Okay. So in technology, we love our acronyms.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it stands for Advanced RISC Machine. It is an acronym that in the name is another acronym.
We've gone too far, Chris.
That is insane.
Shut everything down, reboot. You can't go down this.
We can't acronym an acronym. Like, that's absolutely insane. But anyway, my soapbox, just for your edification, RISC means Reduce Instruction Set Computer. Basically just simplifying the way we get instructions to computers to make them go a little bit faster. I think that TPU is going to be huge for Gen AI models. It's going to be the foundation processing power behind some of these Gen AI models. And like I've said on some of our, prior podcasts, I think that, AI really does go at the rate of computing power. And so if we get more efficient with what we do, we get more power behind some of these models, that's when you really start seeing some mind-bending stuff. Other than that, two other quick things. I think that one of the things that I love about Google is how passionate they are about Google Translate and really getting the ability to communicate with everyone in the world together. I think that's a really powerful thing when it's done right. And so they just announced that translated caption within Google Meet, support for 52 more languages is going to come in June of 2024, which is just huge, right? It's bringing their total number of languages up to 69. And I think that is just one of the things that, from just a humanitarian perspective, is something that really helps people be more unified, right? If you can understand the person across the table.
Exactly. It's smart business. They want to be in different markets where Amazon or AWS and Azure are not. Like, why would they not do this? Why aren't other people doing this? It's smart business in and of itself. And it's fantastic. Again, like you said, from a humanitarian aspect of it, it makes the world smaller. That's exactly what it does.
Yep.
Be able to connect people. I think it's a great thing.
Yep, 100%. And, kind of piggybacking off of that feature being added to Google Meet, Google's also going to have an a la carte Google Meet offering, which is really cool. So if your company, say, is in the Office 365 suite, but maybe Teams isn't your favorite, right? I know I have my personal qualms with Teams. You can then buy Google Meet as your primary video conferencing platform. Very similar to the way that Zoom has their model right now. Google Meet is coming into that market. They were already in the market, but like I said, it's going to be a la carte, so you don't have to sign up for Google Workspace to get Meet. You can buy Meet by itself. And I think that's really going to put a lot of the AI features and a lot of the really cool features like 1080p video that we take for granted nowadays in the hands of a lot of other people, because it's a great meeting platform. Personally, my favorite. I don't love Zoom, I don't love WebEx, I don't love Teams, but Google Meet, there we go. But this is a Google podcast, right? So maybe I'm just, preaching to the choir here. But Tegan, what was your favorite breakout? I know that's the thing, the keynotes were really good, but what do you think about your breakout? Where did you kind of, on a smaller scale, hear some really interesting things?
Man, I went to a couple different breakouts, and it's tough because each one of them I spend a little bit of time with, but then, there's always an emergency that pops up. But one that I actually got through the full thing without anyone bothering me, maybe because I put my phone on silent. I had to get through this. But it was applied AI. It was lessons from implementation to return on investment. It was a really practical use of companies. It was a panel of 4 or 5 different companies about their implementation of AI, talking about how it starts with data. And I think that's the first thing everyone forgets. It starts with data, and it starts with security controls first. Then you can move on to, all right, what do we want to build? Do we want to build that chatbot with all this customer data that has been scrubbed, organized, and it's secure? Or do we want to start with, let's move on to maybe more like an enterprise platform that is like a horizontal search that we've been seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
Plug this company in because I love them so much. But Glean's a great example of this, where companies want to do the implementation of Gen AI. They want to get ahead of the curve, or they just don't want to be left behind. They don't know where to start. So it was cool to see these CISOs and CIOs get up there and talk about their thought process of what made the most sense for their company's use case, where to start. I thought that was the most interesting part, because a lot of companies, they know what to do. They know the buzzwords. They know where they want to go. It's just where do they start? I think a lot of
Yep.
companies get hung up on that, and it comes from the smart data, organized data, secure data. That's where it starts. So that was my best. By leaps and bounds, I absolutely love that session. What about you? What was yours?
Yeah, I'm a junkie for anything like futuristic sounding, right? I mean, that's probably one of the reasons I like being in technology, but I love hearing people who are pushing the boundaries of what we know as normal. So two of the sessions I really like that I think did that really well is one named Reimagining Retail and one of building AI powered games. We'll go into reimagining retail real quick. Essentially, they talked about bridging the gap between your digital experience of retail and your physical experience. And so they talked about why, most shoppers shop online now is because they walk into a store and it feels very antiquated, right? It feels like very old fashioned versus everything's quick and fast when you shop online. But they talked about bridging that gap with making more like personalized experiences within a store. So, two examples they said that I thought was phenomenal is they talked about when you enter a store in the future, you're going to scan a QR code, and everywhere you go within that store, you're going to have different products basically shown to you based on your interests and what you've shopped for in the past. So they said like you could go into a changing room and instead of you actually having to change your clothes, there's a massive mirror on the wall that can do digital try-ons for anything in their product portfolio, right? Saving them time. So, real time, go through a portfolio, pick something on your body shape and size. It'll be able to show you how one of their clothing items would fit on you. I thought that is really phenomenal.
You
And
know what that reminds me of? Did you see that announcement of a company, or it wasn't a company, it was an airport, where you could go in with your boarding pass, and then it would tell you to look up at the screen and stand at a certain angle or direction, and the screen was like 360 degrees, and it would, where you were standing by yourself, you would look up, and you could see it says like Tegan Brown, gate A, wherever you want to
yeah,
go. And then someone right next to me could totally see something different from their point of view. So it was where you stood. I don't know. It kind of seems like a play on what they're trying to do there. You scan a QR code, it's individualized and it's personalized to you as you walk in, maybe telling you where to walk, maybe being
yeah.
like, check that aisle B. It's a lot of the stuff that you've been shopping for online.
Yeah, it's just really bridging that gap between the digital and the physical, which I think is really cool. Another example they said, kind of sticking with the changing rooms, I thought was really cool, was like if you go in and try on, a piece of clothing that is from their summer line, right? Like they could automatically generate on the walls of the changing room your favorite summer vacation spot. So, right, like I'm in South Carolina, right? So, Charleston is such a very famous place in South Carolina during the summer. And so I could go in there, I try on some Bermuda shorts or whatever, I'm going to wear in the summer. And all of a sudden I get to see what I would look like with Charleston behind me, right? I mean, just stuff that is.
The Borat.
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant. That's going to be what I'm going to try on. But
I thought so.
I'm going to see what that looks like in front of Rainbow Row in Charleston. You know what I mean? But that was phenomenal. AI powered games. I mean, the stuff that you can do with a video game right now, because it is just pretty much a digital medium, right? And the storytelling that you're going to be able to do with Gen AI, right? These NPCs are non-playable characters, to where you usually just have, static interactions. If I go talk to this character, they're going to give me the same response every single time I go talk to him. Now you can literally have a conversation with a character, and it's going to be uniquely tailored to who that character is, what their background is, what you've done in the game so far, right? I mean, just crazy things, to where, any type of game interaction is going to be more immersive than it ever has before. And that even leads, I know this is a whole nother can of worms, but to the metaverse conversation, right? Making the digital world as immersive as the physical world. Kind of going back to the whole retail thing too. That's the things that I think I really took away, that I'm so excited to see where these companies take it. But, thinking about where companies are going to take it, you've had a week to decompress from Google Next. Where do you see industries going now? Like, what kind of technology do you see them adopting? What do you think is going to be some trends we're going to see based on some of the announcements we saw at Google Next?
Man, that's a tough one. I mean, there's so many different directions you can go with this. I think one of the biggest things, I'll steal this again from one of the keynotes. I think the biggest trend we're going to see is the organization and the maybe consolidation of organizations' data. You're going to be seeing a lot more, not only security concerns around data. You're going to see so many companies, whether they be like ChatGPT, GPTs, or you're going to be seeing companies come out of the woodworks in terms of organization, like for data. I think a lot more consulting firms like Accenture, Deloitte, PwC are going to be doing maybe workshops around data, just because without your data organization, without that correct implementation, AI is useless.
Yep.
You will not be able to make your own GPTs. You will not be able to use your own data, which would be used effectively and like would propel your organization forward, without that data correctly. So I think there's going to be a huge, maybe not black market, but there's going to be, it reminds me of the Reddit IPO. Like it's one of the most visited sites in the world.
Yep.
With almost no monetization of its own data. So I think now everyone talks about cloud wars and AI. Well, what about data? That's where it starts. I think we're going to see a lot of companies buckering up their security around their own data, or buying other companies' data, or buying consumers' data,
yep.
and then trying to consolidate it, trying to put in these data silos, organization. If I was back in college again, Chris, I'd do it all over again. I would go into data analytics. They're going to be paying these data scientists, these college grads right out, if they have any kind of sense of how to organize it and how to use it. Big bucks. That's the biggest thing I'm going to see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, data is king, right? I mean, there was someone who said a couple years ago that data is more valuable than gold at this point, right? I mean, it's the most valuable currency in the world, maybe besides time, but that's getting a little bit of philosophical, right? But no, I think, yeah, speaking of data, Google spent a lot of time introducing this term that they call grounding, which essentially means you putting your own personal company data into the models themselves in a frozen environment, of course, that's not public to Google or to anyone else. But I think what that does, and what people are going to see, is that ability to do that effectively is really going to enhance the adoption rate of Gen AI. Because, I mean, they showed an example of this guy signing up for health benefits and doing it all within a chatbot, right? Like, he didn't have to go to his employee benefits side. He didn't have to read the employee handbook. And honestly, I would buy it just for that. Once a year, whenever open enrollment comes around, I'm just like, I have no idea, because benefits is just another language, right? That I do not understand. But I think making these experiences more personalized to the company and the individual is really where this stuff starts taking off. And I don't know where we're going to be in 5 years. Usually when you ask future focused questions, it's like, where do you see us in 10 years? I have no idea, because everything's moving so fast. Who knows what it's going to look like in 2 years, right? I don't know. But
who knows what Google Next is going to be like next?
Yeah, who knows what Google Next is going to be, but you need to go. I'm telling you, if you have any interest, get your company to send you out there. It is worth the trip. It is definitely the meeting of the minds, where you will take away a lot of really great insight to be able to make you successful in your career, no matter what your career is, right? Technology kind of leads the way in where we're all going to end up one day. But that being said, that was episode 4. We had a lot of fun talking about Google Next. We would love to interact with you. If you guys have any questions or thoughts, if you went to Google Next and maybe you want to share your favorite breakout in the comments, like, we would love to start a discourse about this, because I think that, like I said, there's a lot of stuff to really ruminate on, right? And so we would love to do it with you guys, not just me and Tegan on the screen, right? So any final words, Teague?
No, that was it, man. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, how much better looking I am than Chris.
100%.
I'll take all the good compliments. But yeah, I agree. Love to see you next year. Definitely reach out for comments. Let us know if there's a topic that we haven't covered yet that you'd love to see us talk about. We're open to suggestions here.
Yeah, love it. And hey, remember, if you don't know the answer, just Google it.
Later, guys.
See ya.